We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions. My friend. Okay, so Mom, what are some of your favorite memories with me from? Because we did have some rough times, but we also have had a lot of great times, and I feel like just kind of like honing in on that helps us remember, like, okay, it gets rough sometimes, but it's not all bad. It's not always, you know, having issues and stuff like that. We have had so many years, a lifetime thus far of amazing memories, and so I feel like focusing or highlighting that a little bit helps, like, not get caught up in the negativity too. You know, like in the moment, obviously you have to deal with, or obviously in the moment you have to just kind of like deal with what's happening. But I think when we think about all the good stuff we have, then I have one.
Okay.
But you gotta look the other way.
Why?
Because that's how it goes. You'll know once I start.
Oh. Yes.
We are the champions, my friend. Doom, doom. And we'll keep on fighting till the end. Doom, 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 doom. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions. My friend.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny.
So context for that little inside joke. The D2 The Mighty Ducks is one of my favorite childhood movies. And at the end of that movie, after they win everything, they sing "We Are the Champions" by Queen. And we just kind of started, I don't even know why we started singing that, but
yes.
it was because we saw it in the movie and it just became a thing. And we'd randomly burst out into song on occasion and do that. Look.
Well, there are 3 things that stick out a lot, which there were a ton of things, but the first thing are our girls' days.
Best ever.
Best ever. We
And
would just
we
take
had a routine.
day.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can tell it.
No, you can tell it. You can tell our routine.
So we had a routine.
From like 2 or 3 we had girls' days.
So initially it started at Fairlane. And the only thing I remember about, Fairlane is a mall here in Michigan. The only thing I remember about those girls' days, because I was really little, was the popcorn. There was this popcorn place, and they had like candied popcorn. And so every time we'd go on a girls' day to Fairlane, I would get candy popcorn and like a little toy or something. But as I got older, obviously I still like playing with toys, but I like to read. And so we moved out to Clinton Township, and there was Lakeside Mall right near where we lived. And so we would go to Lakeside Mall. Our first stop when we got into the mall was KB Toys, because it was literally like right there as soon as you walked in. Go to KB Toys, I'd get some Barbie clothes or whatever. And then we'd go across the way to Walden Books, and I would either just look at the books or get like a little cheap book or something like that. And then we'd go to the PBS Store of Knowledge, because I was a huge PBS kid. We did not have cable when I was younger. I I think we had it for like a couple of years, but for the most part, me and my little brother watched PBS. And so loved the PBS Store of Knowledge. We'd go there, I'd look at stuff, old video cassettes of Zoom episodes and stuff, just random stuff. Love that store. And then after we had made our little rounds, there was this place called Pretzel Time, and this was before Auntie Anne's, before Wetzel's Pretzels, any of that stuff. Pretzel Time in Lakeside Mall had the softest, most buttery, delicious pretzels, and we would get a pretzel and get our little cheese and a little pop, and we'd sit there and we'd eat it, and that was our girls' day. And I was elated. Anytime she said we were going on a girls' day, I was like, this is amazing, let's go.
And you would buy your Barbie doll clothes.
Yes, I would always get some kind of Barbie something.
Yeah. And when you were around 2 or 3, maybe up until you were probably about 5, maybe then, you would order your food. This was when we were going to Big Boys, because even before Fairlane, we would go to Big Boys. And that's a restaurant here, a hamburger restaurant. But anyway, you would always, do you remember what you would order all the time?
Something in coleslaw?
You would order coleslaw, French fries, and a root beer pop. That's all you wanted. And you would be just, just a big girl saying it. If the waitress would look to me to give your order, you would say, I can tell you my order myself. So that was one. The other one was watching Disney movies. Yes. All of the Disney movies, Mary Poppins, you name it. I really wanted you to watch them because I love those Disney movies, the old Disney movies. And the last thing was going to the American Girls Place. And we had tea. At their cafe. I love that. And it was just, we took a trip. Me and you took a trip with some other moms, and that was great.
And we did that 2 years in a row. For my birthday.
Right. And so overall, too, I have no regrets from not working and staying home, and taking care of you and Donovan.
And because I had such a fun childhood, I, had career aspirations and all that other stuff, but I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, just because I knew, or I saw how much of a positive impact my mom staying home with me and my brother had on us. And this is part of the reason why we had all those good memories. I think besides those memories, some of my, because you stole a couple of mine.
Really? Getting on the train?
Yes. But some of my other favorite memories, definitely the library. So whatever area we lived in, one of the first things we always did was find a library. And to this day, that is one of, when I'm like, okay, I'm here, I'm living here, one of the first things I try to figure out is where the library is. Like, I haven't done a whole lot at all in LA, but I have a library card. And so going to the library, when I was little especially, like, she'd stick me in a wagon and she'd pull me from our house to the library. And every summer, all the libraries that we would go to would have like these book reading challenges, and you would get like little gifts and stuff like that, little prizes and stuff if you reach the different things. And so she'd always, take me up to the library 2-3 times a week if necessary for me to be able to get my little prizes and help me pick out new books and stuff like that. And I loved reading to the point that, like, some people got grounded and got spankings and stuff. My mom's means of punishment was, this was, I think, the most sadistic out of the punishments. Oh my gosh, it was the worst. I don't even remember what I did, but I had ordered and put a bunch of stuff on hold at the library. And my mom lets me go and pick all this stuff up, and then we get home and she's like, put it up on the china cabinet. You can't read or look at any of these videos or touch any of this stuff for a week. And I had to like walk by it every day.
Most of the time, it was getting you to do your chores.
So it's probably
consistently.
I probably didn't do my chores,
You're
but that
wrong.
was the worst.
Yeah.
That's how much
Yeah.
I love to read. That you
Yeah.
could take away my books and it was gonna like
Right.
hit me.
Mhm.
But the other side of that was like I loved reading so much
Mm-hmm.
because she was so
Mhm.
just willing to feed my reading addiction.
Right.
And then I want to say just like singing and stuff too. Like
We would do that a lot.
we would sing together, but I remember listening to you like practice your songs and stuff for church. And I would, obviously you wouldn't know this, but we'd go to churches and my mom has a great voice. And we'd go to different churches and she'd be singing and stuff. And I'd be sitting there in the audience, like quietly singing along to all of her songs. Because like, it was like, this is cool. Like my mom, I know these songs and she's up there singing her face off.
Wow.
And so when I eventually was able to do that myself, that was a pretty
Great.
cool transition. Yeah, and just like American Girl, I think
That whole train ride, spending the night, the train
staying
back
at the Lennox
home.
Suites Hotel
Yes.
in downtown Chicago.
Yeah, we were doing it in style.
Yes. And we went to, we'd
Main
always go to
Street, Main
Ghirardelli.
Street.
We'd always go to Ghirardelli on our trips
Yeah,
there. And there was a
Navy.
lady there who would like
Remember
right,
us.
like,
Miss
it was
Rose.
Miss Rose.
That was her name.
She would remember us and give us free chocolate
Yeah.
when we went. So yeah, those trips are just great.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice that you would give to any moms who might be, either in a bad space with their daughters or, to help them avoid getting into a bad space? Like you have a daughter who's not quite at that angsty age yet. Anything that could be helpful?
I think if someone would have shared with me to share with you exactly who I was would have helped us. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think once I did that, even if I was ashamed of some of the stuff that I shared with you, that it humanized me for you, and it made you realize that this state of perfection was unrealistic and you didn't have to reach it. And
that you were trying to like push me to be a certain way because you were afraid.
I was afraid
of what would happen if I was not on my P's and Q's. And so it gave me context because it made me stop feeling like you were just being, mean or dogmatic or whatever.
Right.
And helped me recognize like, okay, she's doing this because she loves me and she's afraid for me. And so just knowing that the intention behind it really was coming from a place of love as opposed to something else was helpful.
Right. And I know some parents may not agree with doing that, but I think your children respect you more when they see that you've made mistakes. When you acknowledge mistakes you made with them and when you allow them to be privy to the mistakes that you've made at their age.
Right.
That would help them know that you can relate and understand. I think the other thing is that if I knew when you were struggling, two things instead of looking on the outward behavior, but to really try to understand that something was going on inside of you that you could not handle. If I knew that, I think I could have handled it better. And the other thing is, when I saw your behavior, instead of looking at the behavior, looked at myself. What can I do to create a safe space for my daughter? So no matter what's going on outside of her, she can always know if she comes here that even if I have to give her constructive criticism, it's all from a place of unconditional love. I think those are the things that I would say. And of course, oh my goodness, of course, first and foremost, to really seek God in an honest way, and be open. Be open to really hear and listen to what he has to say about you as a parent. I think that's really the most important thing.
Yeah, and I guess on the other side of things, for like the daughters who may be struggling with their moms, I would say, one, just being intentional about forgiving, and like just remembering your parents aren't perfect, and they're human, they make mistakes, and so just like not putting them on a pedestal and being intentional about forgiving them when they do make mistakes, and not holding grudges or bitterness or resentment for things that happen. I think just because it's like your parents, it has more of an impact than it does for someone else, and so it's easy to kind of like internalize all of that stuff. But I think if you just like really recognize like your parent is human, just like you, they make mistakes, they're not perfect, then it's easier to kind of like let things go when they make mistakes. Definitely if you're a parent and you do make a mistake, apologize. But just if you're dealing with that, just being intentional about forgiving and letting go and not holding grudges. And I guess too, just like communicating.
And not operating out of a spirit of fear. In your communication.
Being intentional about just being honest with your parents. It can be scary to tell them the truth because you don't necessarily know how they're going to react or whatever else, but I think if you know that your parent loves you, then being so honest important. Gives them a chance to show up for you, because they can't show up for you if they don't know what's going on with you, or like they don't really know what's going on with you, or they don't know what the need is. And so you have to be honest and tell them how you feel. And I still struggle with that, but I think what I'm discovering and what I have discovered is that when I am honest, it allows them to speak to whatever I really have going on inside, and they can't do that effectively if they don't know. And once they do know, I think more often than not, like most of the time, or all the time, right? Like you want to, even if they don't agree, they want to, be there for me, and not judge me and not make me feel terrible about myself, but let me know that I'm loved and I'm supported. And so I think that has helped my relationship, not just with my mom, but with my dad.
And I think that, where there can be mistakes, serious mistakes, mistakes made that can do serious damage, is when parents are exacting and punitive in their approach, and they're telling that child they love them unconditionally, but if that child doesn't meet up to their expectations, the disappointment is enough to crush the life out of that
and how
kid.
They treat them changes, right? Like if you, because that's what the fear is. Like you say you love me, but then if I'm not what you want me to be, then you treat me differently. And just giving kids room to be.
Respect their journey.
Right, like you have to make mistakes, and you have to make mistakes. You have to fail, and and I feel like a parent's job is to, just be supportive in all of that. Not say I told you so, not judge or make you feel bad about going through something, but to give you, be there for you and give you guidance, and good guidance. Not just I'm older, and because that's the other thing. Like my parents are willing to acknowledge when they're wrong. They're willing to learn from their children and to acknowledge when we're better positioned to teach them something than they are positioned to teach us. And they take what they learn and they incorporate it into their own lives to make themselves better. And I feel like a lot of parents, it's like I'm older, I know more, and and they kind of get caught up in that. And it makes your kid feel bad about themselves, or like they can't talk to you about everything, or you know, if they do tell you something, that you're not going to respond well to it.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm just grateful to have parents who are willing to, you know, look at themselves and learn and grow, and not feel like they're above journeying.
Yeah.
You know, right along
And
with us.
changing.
Yeah.
And changing.
Right. They're not above evolution.
Yeah.
You know, they're not
above
so
evolution.
stuck in their ways that they can't grow.
And you know, I remember asking you and Donovan recently, you know, why is it that you guys share as much as you share?
Overshare.
Sometimes
We
you
tell
do.
our parents
Quite a
almost
bit.
everything.
Quite a bit. And that has taken evolvement as a
Yes.
parent. But I think that in, you know, being, you know, giving that space for your kids really truly matters to them. And you know, just allowing room to let them know that even though you tell them I'll love you no matter what you do, I'll love you no matter what you do, if they're still afraid to share, then something is not concrete in that
Right.
message that you're giving them. And so you have to be open. You know, you really have to be open.
Everybody has to be open.
Mm-hmm.
Openness, I think, is the bottom line. Like, key is just
Right.
being open.
Right. That's really true.
Right. So good talk, Mom.
Good talk, Cara, and I hope we've helped somebody, you know,
Yeah.
and, you know, help parents to know that you don't have to be perfect to be a parent. And, you know, the kids don't have to be perfect,
either.
you know, for their parents to love them. I think that's the most important message we can give one another living in this world that we live
Right.
in today. It's
For
so
sure.
important to understand that.
Well, I hope y'all enjoyed this video and our little mommy-daughter time. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye.